Hello, welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, comment, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We would love to hear your ratings of the movies and shows we review.
Email us your audio file to recappingpodcast@gmail.com and we will play it during the show.
Or DM us on Instagram and we will post and read it on air.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, how are you, sis?
Ashley, it is 2022. Granted, this is our second episode, but it's like our first hot topic. So I'm just like super, super excited.
First headlines, first hot topics. And of course, we have to talk about Insecure episodes 9 and 10. Cannot wait to get into it.
Oh, yeah. Epic.
Well, before we do, though, obviously, we haven't got a chance to really discuss since the end of the year. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing much better now. I ended up getting a bug at the end of last year going into New Year's. It's not COVID. I tested twice to verify, but I'm telling you, it was a throat situation, nasal congestion, tired.
That sounds so weird. It's a throat situation.
It was a mess. And this was the first year I slept through the countdown. I did not make it. That's how tired I was. But I am better. Work is interesting, but I thank God for work.
Amen.
How about you? You're the one that's living it up. I'm going to have to hang out with you this year going into next year.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I just got back from Miami. I went down with my cousin for New Year's, so we had a good little time. My cousin is so clutch. I was like, I'm trying to do only outdoor events. Somehow, literally hours before the New Year, she was able to find an outdoor party that was really nice, all Black event. It was really dope. So we were able to ring it in a great way.
All Black people or
all Black people? All Black people. It was amazing. I was like, girl, not only did you find an outdoor event like I asked, but it's literally an all Black event. I don't know how she did it, but she was very clutch with that. Not to say that I can't mix and mingle. I'm just saying I didn't expect it, in Miami. Yeah. So it was a good time. And, like I told you before we started recording, I've just been taking the vitamins and drinking my tea and trying to stay healthy because, this Omarion variant, sorry, Omarion, I know you out here trying to dispel this rumor, is out here getting people left and right. So
it really is. And I think that's what helped curb my cold really quickly. I was like, zinc, D, multivitamins, C, like all the supplements, all of them, and rest. So that's super important.
That's the biggest thing is I wasn't sleeping well. So as soon as I got back, I was asleep for like 3 hours. And then every night this week, I've been going to bed early and I'm not an early bird whatsoever. So I've been trying to get it in. And I swear by a hot toddy. Okay. I swear by putting a little whiskey in my green and cinnamon tea. Okay.
I need to get some. What am I doing over here, Ash?
Well, guys, we hope that you have had happy holidays and very happy new year for 2022. Delora, have you gotten used to writing 2022 yet? That's always my struggle is the new year.
So yes, because I'm an even person, like
you just been waiting. You've been waiting on this
24s, the 26. I was here for it. So yeah.
That's hilarious. I feel like I haven't struggled, but maybe it's because I already had set my mind to the fact that I was rolling into this new year. Like even my age, I turned a year older. I already had set in my mind this new age. So I had already started saying that I was 34. Put my age out there on the mic in advance. So
oh no, I keep every year to the very end.
Look, somebody was already trying to tell me I'm 35. I said, do not rush my life. I am 34. Okay.
And I refuse to refer to myself as old like some of my girlfriends are like, girl, we old. I'm like, I'm not.
There you go. What's funny is I'll say that I'm old indeed, but I don't look old. That's the difference. I can still roll with y'all 20 somethings to the best of them. So there we go. As I swing my twist to the side. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into our headlines and hot topics. Delora, first one, just sliding right into the continuation of New Year's Eve. Girls, some CNN hosts were living their best lives for New Year's Eve. Honey, the internet was enjoying the drunk antics and dancing of Don Lemon during CNN's broadcast, but another famous host, Andy Cohen, almost found himself disinvited to next year's festivities due to his comments and on-air jabs. Girl, he said he was overserved and made remarks about both Ryan Seacrest and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. An article by both The Heavy and CNN has dispelled and debunked the rumors that he won't be invited back. But many viewers thought that he was hilarious and that his interactions with Anderson Cooper were enjoyable, but others slammed CNN for permitting them to drink on live television and for allowing Andy to speak so disrespectfully about de Blasio, regardless of whether people felt what he was saying was true. Did you have any thoughts about Andy's on-air behavior?
First of all, I'm always here for a CNN drunk moment, specifically Don Lemon. Like, I was here for the 1-2 steps. He was showing us what those knees do. I expected more out of Don because, I mean, New Orleans, hello. But when
and apparently he always does this, like this is his thing every year. Okay.
Yes. The clip that had me rolling was the lady, the comedian he had on this float. And he was like, what's your New Year's resolution? She's like, no more broke D. And he was like, what? No more. And the fact that he didn't hear her, so she repeated it on CNN, one of the most respected cable news networks. No more broke D. And I was just done. I was done. But as far as Andy, that wasn't even, it's whatever. Like, yeah, what New Yorker doesn't complain about their mayor? One, right? Mm-hmm. Him talking about Ryan Seacrest is rich considering his best friend is Kelly Ripa. So I highly doubt that he has any real beef.
No, he said afterwards, he said that's his biggest regret. He said, I like Ryan. He's a great guy. Like, he just was drunk talking shit. If you're going to give people alcohol, you should be prepared for people to give you that alcohol infused reality, right?
And honestly, I was here for Anderson because Anderson always knows the assignment. He's like, what I'm not going to do is get caught up with any of this.
Exactly.
And I'm just gonna laugh while he was
eating baby food, apparently.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Something weird. Again, I was in these streets, so I didn't see any of it, but I just chuckled after I read the headline.
It's always interesting seeing, these hosts with their hair down, so to speak, right? It's almost the equivalent of like when you're in elementary school and you see your teacher outside of school. You're like,
you're a real person?
What's going on? Like, they act different. Like,
but it's also Andy Cohen. Andy is not some esteemed journalist. Andy is messy. He is Real Housewives
reunions.
Watch what happens. Like, this is Andy. That's like putting Wendy Williams on a New Year's Eve special and expecting her to not talk shit about people. Right.
Yeah. Robin's gonna laugh and Wendy's gonna put her foot in her mouth. Like, it's gonna happen.
Exactly. All right, well, let's move on to our second quick headline. Tracee Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson. So, Delora, ahead of Blackish's 8th and final season premiere on Tuesday, not sure if you guys saw it, but Mrs. Michelle Obama was on the episode, so check it out.
Yes.
Anthony revealed to Parade magazine that he was not on great terms with Tracee Ellis Ross ahead of Blackish's series debut in 2014. According to him, he offended his longtime TV wife thanks to a joke he made during the 2005 Vibe Awards. Ooh, that's a throwback. He said, we laugh about this now, but Tracee didn't like me for maybe 10 years. As we were walking onto the stage, there was a loud sound over the speaker. And I said, Tracee, did you fart? The audience loved it. But what I did not know is how offended Tracee was by that comment. Delora, have you ever had beef with someone initially that you went on to become great friends with?
That's a great question. No, I don't think that's ever happened, but I also don't beef with people. So yeah, that's a great question. How about you?
Oh yeah. I've had people who did not like me initially, not necessarily the other way around. That, went on to become friends with, not to this extent necessarily where I feel like I've done something to offend people, but that happens.
It happens that he's deciding to speak about this. This isn't new. Like, this came out years ago, like since, the show has been on, but I think it's probably something fun to talk about again, because the last time he talked about it, he talked about how they had like an intimate scene, like a hug or kiss, and she like essentially kissed him out, like, you better not do something or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, so he's given the PG version for this, farewell tour.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what it is, right? It's the end of an era, it's the end of Blackish, so he's just regurgitating some tales and talking behind the scenes stuff as they wrap up. And it is going to be sad to see this show go. I feel like we're losing so many great shows we've had over the last 6, 7, 8 years, from Blackish to This Is Us to Insecure. Obviously, like, it's just been a whirlwind of our faves ending. So
yeah, and these shows were significant. They made a major splash in the world of television, especially for the African American community, having, in front, behind, and just telling a different tale.
Yep.
And introducing us to the fabulous actors that has come from that show since. So yeah, it's going to be missed.
Absolutely. All right. Another quick headline: Jason Derulo. According to a TMZ article, also on Tuesday was busy. Jason Derulo got in a fight at a hotel in Vegas after two guys called him Usher. One actually yelled, "Hey, Usher, fuck you, bitch." Jason ran over, punched one of them, slapped another one. At the time, the two victims did not want to press charges, but according to this article, there's always the possibility of a lawsuit. Either way, they have up to 1 year to change their minds and move forward with charges. Jason got a trespassing notice from Aria, which was the hotel, and was removed from the property. This reminded me, remember how we talked about on the True Story recap? If you guys haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. That I'm not sure as a celebrity if I could always keep my composure. I don't condone violence, but catch somebody on the wrong day, and I guess you can catch these hands, Delora.
First of all, being compared to Usher is a compliment, considering I'm sure he was there to see that concert anyway. I'm just joking. I know, but that's the hottest chick in Las Vegas right now is Usher, i.e. Haley messing around with this little rapper. Anyway, man, I guess it was the wrong day. I think it would be considered a compliment to be compared to Usher.
I think it was a compliment to be compared to Usher, but I think it was the aggressiveness with which they approached the situation by saying, "F you, bitch." Like, I think it was the whole delivery that got Jason. But again, he had to have already been in a heightened state to just, if you haven't watched the video, immediately.
Yeah, there was no time.
No, there was no pause.
And, what people do in Vegas stays in Vegas. But to your point, he could have been already inebriated or high,
wound up. Because even you see his bodyguard chasing after him. His bodyguard's like, "Wait, what the?"
He must have lost some money or something. Like, that's insane.
Again, we do not condone violence on the pod. I apologize for laughing, but just the entire scenario, I was not prepared for. I saw it first, and then I got sent the article, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is a big deal. I don't really think about Jason Derulo. He's not an artist that I really pay a lot of attention to. So this just caught me off guard.
Jason is one of those artists where you're just listening to a song and you're like, oh, that's catchy. Who's that? Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't look for Jason Derulo's music. I don't see it. It usually finds me because it's on some social media.
No shade, Jason. No shade.
I've been trusted him since he dumped Jordan Sparks. So
yeah, that's the last time I paid attention to him, to be completely honest. Anyway, our final quick headline: Megan Good and Devon Franklin, a shocking celebrity split that was announced in late December. Megan Good and Devon Franklin announced their separation after 9 years of marriage. According to an article by People, their work schedules often kept them apart, and they just haven't been spending a lot of time together this past year, which was 2021. When they did have time in their schedules, it often just be hours that they would be able to spend quality time together. So essentially the article was saying, even though it was a shock to us publicly, privately, it was not as big of a shock to folks. What were your thoughts on this?
I was really sad. Honestly, not to make it about me, but they were going to be married for 10 years this year, and Dave and I are going to be married for 10 years this year. So I was like, the 10-year club, and it's like, oh, they didn't make it. They were such a beautiful couple. They made such a splash when they got together, writing books and, being very public with their relationship. I do think the beginning of their relationship, I think there's a value in what they spoke about, seeking the Lord or, not putting all the goodies on the table initially. Like, I appreciate those messages, but just very sad. And you never know what goes on in a relationship, right?
Indeed.
And I just think you also have to be very careful on who you look towards for quote unquote couple goals. I mean, if nothing else in the last 2 years, we realize all of those things are lies, courtesy of
the lies. I always see that Candy Burris gift. Yeah. The lies.
Instagram, like the cliche, is only a highlight reel,
Indeed.
So
even though Devon did post the picture of himself in tears
crying
for New Year's.
Yeah.
And people were trying to say, keep that, let Megan handle the acting, which people are just rude.
Fair.
People are just rude.
But, there's a lot of speculation. People are speculating that maybe, they didn't have any kids and that's something he wanted and she didn't, which they've been very vocal about. And then people grow apart. That is a thing. And I think the beautiful thing about life is you're allowed to have different chapters. People, do come in and out of it. When you pick a life partner, you do expect to be with them for a large portion. So it's really sad. It's really sad. Sorry.
I think it's also valuable to not always look at a separation or a divorce as a failure, because they did have 9 beautiful years together, hopefully beautiful. Again, I don't know the relationship, and that is a infinity within itself. Remember from our movie?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
A Fault in Our Stars.
A Fault in Our Stars.
So, I mean, I think they took hopefully what they needed to from each other, from that romance. And while it's sad, obviously, to see a couple that I think in the community, in the Black community, at least we rooted for, because again, they were seemingly a really lovely example of a successful couple. I mean, it is what it is. And I just wish them both the best as they move forward, because I'm sure there is validity to the busyness of their schedules. And, we just saw, and we're going to recap Harlem, that Megan did. She's working on other projects. Devon is also in the entertainment industry. He has a lot going on. So, they're booked and busy.
And I will say, when that news came out, there was also rumors about freaking Steph and Aisha at the same damn time. And I'm like, Lord, I hope this is the truth. But that came out on freaking MSN news. And I'm like, this is kind of credible.
Yeah. But and people will be just beside themselves if that turns out to be true.
They have not acknowledged any of it. If anything, they posted more pictures of themselves, together. But Yeah, that was rough. That was rough.
I think it is valid though, the idea of not subscribing to couples goals for any of these people, because we don't know any of these people. You barely know what's going on in the relationships of the people you're actually close to, let alone these celebrities. So
girl, so true. So true.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got for quick headlines, guys. Let's move on to our hot topic. So we have two today. Our first one, RIP to the OG Betty White. 2021, man, you had to do us dirty on the last day of the year. Beloved actress, comedian, and American icon Betty White died on Friday, December 31st, just weeks before her milestone 100th birthday. I'm sourcing this from TMZ. Betty passed of natural causes at her home. A trailblazer and pioneer in media, Betty had the longest running career for any woman in TV prior to her death, starring in multiple shows over the past 8 decades, starting way back in 1939. Her breakout comedic role came in 1973 when she played Sue Ann Nevins on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, which ran until 1977. Then she got her starring role in The Betty White Show. Betty is perhaps most famous for her lead role as Rose Nyland in The Golden Girls, which ran from 1985 to 1992. With 115 kids. Acting credits to her name, Betty had roles in productions like Life with Elizabeth, Date with the Angels, The Love Boat, Mama's Family, The Golden Palace, Ladies Man, That 70s Show, Boston Legal, The Bold and the Beautiful, Hot in Cleveland, and many, many, many other shows and films. Betty won 5 Primetime Emmy Awards, including 2 for Mary Tyler Moore, 1 for Golden Girls, and 1 for her 1975 SNL appearance, along with Screen Actors Guild Awards, American Comedy Awards, and even a 2012 Grammy. She's been nominated for several Golden Globes and has also been honored with lots of Lifetime Achievement Awards and celebrations through several organizations. A screening event planned prior to her death to mark her 100th birthday will go on as planned on January 17th, according to CNN. A life well lived, Alora, and yet it still feels like she was gone too soon. How will you best remember the Betty White?
Miss Betty White, she was so beautiful both inside and out. To have such longevity in such a toxic industry like Hollywood, we hear so many crazy stories all the time. Like, it's eats you up and spits you out. And she was able to obviously have the grit necessary to have such a prolific career. Although I love Golden Girls, she was not my favorite character because I didn't appreciate her character growing up. I feel like I appreciate it more now because I get the ditzy character. I never enjoyed that character sometimes. And
who was your favorite? Sophia?
Of course, the author, duh. I loved her sarcasm, and of course, Sophia. Yeah, those are my 2 favorites growing up. But favorite role, hands down, The Proposal.
Yeah.
Love. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds will never get. Well, I feel like our favorite people to talk about is like Ryan Reynolds and Chris Evans, only because there's a ton of Ryans and Chris's, and you always have to identify your fave. Anyway, the chemistry that she had with both Sandra and Ryan were just, it was perfect. And I actually watched it recently, so it brought me so much joy. So she's going to be missed. Damn it! People magazine celebrating her 100th before she made it. But what about you, Ashley?
I mean, man, when I got this news, I was like, you've got to be effing kidding me. She is just shy of her 100th birthday. It is literally the last day of the year. And you guys are telling me Betty White said, all right, deuces. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. But again, such a life well lived. I remember saying some point in the last couple of years that when Betty White went, I needed to do some type of commemorative something for the Golden Girls since she was the last one standing. Because when I tell you that the Golden Girls brings me so much joy, I watch Golden Girls marathon reunion episodes on a loop some weekends as if I have never seen this damn show before.
But see, the fact that you can still laugh out loud
and I think it's so timeless because I've grown with it, right? Like when I was younger, it meant one thing to me. When I was probably teens, 20s, and then another. As they're getting more relatable. That's another thing. Because when I first used to watch it, I thought they were so old. These women, when the show started, were in their 50s, people. In their 50s, called the Golden Girls. Okay.
Yeah. Like, living in Miami.
Living in freaking Miami. And what are the odds that I was in Miami when I found out the news? Anyway, so I love Betty White so much. To your point, the proposal, I loved her character. It may be harder for me to watch now, particularly the scene where she pretends like she died. She's like dying. But I mean, I'm glad that we have her, memories and her acting performances that will live on beyond her. And again, it's just the end of an era with her being the last of the Golden Girl crew. So I don't know what I'm gonna do to commemorate it. Maybe I'll buy some Golden Girls merch or something. But man, rest in peace, Betty White, girl. You lived it. You did it.
Netflix is going to have a whole special in her honor. It was originally supposed to commemorate her 100th year, but they're still gonna release it. I'm interested to see what the editing is gonna look like now, but I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the mic once it's out.
For sure. And I watched another documentary they did on her not too long ago too. So Betty, rest well, sweetheart. All right, we have to move from someone who we love to someone that we don't, and that is. I just literally have the trash bag because I just cannot deal with this. So in news that I cannot escape as much as I'd like to, Tristan Trash Bag Thompson has confirmed the paternity of his child that we spoke about previously with Marilee Nichols, and has issued an apology to Khloe Kardashian. He posted to his stories on Instagram on Monday. I take full responsibility for my actions. Now the paternity has been established. I look forward to amicably raising our son. I sincerely apologize to everyone I've hurt or disappointed throughout this ordeal, both publicly and privately. Khloe, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve the heartache and humiliation I have caused you. You don't deserve the way I have treated you over the years. My actions certainly have not lined up with the way I view you. I have the utmost respect. It's hard for me to even get this out. And love for you, regardless of what you may think. Again, I am so incredibly sorry. Delora, do you have any additional thoughts on this ridiculousness that you'd like to share with Recap Nation?
Girl, when I saw that Tristan was indeed the father, a la Mauricio, and that weak ass apology, I was like, first of all, this is an Instagram stories. Like, how serious are we with this? It's embarrassing. I will give the cliche of, if you embarrass me publicly, I need, you to apologize. Apology. I respect that, but again, you doing it in your voice. Where was the publicist? Okay. In your Instagram stories was just a little weak for me. I don't feel sorry for Khloe. And I think I've established this already. I think it's ironic that just recently a clip of Lamar Odom talking about how he left Taraji for Khloe. I thought that was rich because I feel like Khloe likes to take men when they're unavailable. So the sympathy for me has been long gone for Khloe. But there's no taming Tristan. I mean, before it was like, oh, he's young. But then I was like, oh no, he's Jamaican. This explains so much. I'm joking.
No, partially, that is a stereotype out there. Sorry to the Jamaican men. Some of y'all, I have friends that are Jamaican men, and I have not had that experience with y'all. So God bless. But I do feel bad for Khloe. Just human to human, woman to woman. I don't know how messy. I'm just saying, I don't know how messy. Like, for one, men lie. So there's, even if there's overlap, sometimes you don't always know. You're not always told. So I do give that level of grace. But obviously with Tristan, he had a whole other woman pregnant when they first started dating. He had Jordan, not Jordan, Kylie's friend, his other baby mama, Jordan, pregnant. So obviously there was some, messiness that, the Kardashians, particularly Khloe, have had. But from person to person, woman to woman, I have definitely felt sorry for her throughout this ordeal. And all I can say to this situation when I read it was, I'm so fucking over this shit. Like I am. And this has nothing to do with me. This is not my life. Like I told you when we were texting yesterday, like I can't escape this man. Literally every time I'm on Instagram, that's all I'm seeing. And so I'm ready for this to be done. I'm ready for this whole scenario to be over.
Watch that final season, and
I watched the final season. So that's my biggest thing about him is he's a sociopath to me in that way. Like you're pretending at least, or maybe you even believe it, Tristan. I don't know. I'm not your therapist. I don't know what's going on in your psychology that you came back to this family, to everybody, apologized, seemed so remorseful, was there with the baby when Khloe was up in the house with COVID, all this stuff, and claiming to be a different man. But literally, as she wrote you this heartfelt note on your birthday, was sliding inside of some other chick. And then you responded, like you commented under the post as if y'all were on the same page about rebuilding y'all relationship. Like it's disturbing for one, that to me, that is genuinely disturbing. And for two, it's so public, like you're doing this to one of the members of the most public, highest profile celebrity families in the world. So it baffles me, and I'm just so tired of it. And we saw today that Corey supposedly has shown support to him and all this stuff. This better be over. Because I swear, if I have to hear any more about this, I'm done with all of y'all. I'm throwing the whole family away. Because I'm tired.
They have a whole new promo for their
show on Hulu. I'm aware. Yeah. And I have said, as problematic as the Kardashians are, I've been with them since day one. So I am invested in their lives, for better or for worse. But I cannot do this with y'all anymore. This Tristan-ish needs to be over. And that's really all I have left. Like his whole quote, that's why I could barely get it out. My actions certainly have not lined up with the way I view you. Sir, are you crazy? Like, are you insane? I'm done. I'm done, Delora. Anything else?
I think I'm on the same page as Joey Badass. It's like, just admit to yourself that monogamy is just not, you ain't about that life. Nick Cannon has
fully embraced it.
Embraced it, has made peace with it, and has since fathered many children like Abraham. I'm just joking.
Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them. All right, all y'all, summer Christian kids know that song.
That was the jam whenever we did that, by the way. Yeah. Anyway,
Vacation Bible School. My mom led that back in the day. But yeah, I mean, to your point, definitely men do it and have been honest about it and forthright. But again, I think he needs to work through whatever it is within himself, because that man got some issues. That's all I got.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to this microdose, because it's more mess, but at least it's scripted. At least it's scripted mess.
It's not real life, right? It's not affecting people's lives.
Exactly. People's children gotta grow up and see this bullshit. Anyway, let's talk about Insecure. Since we've been gone, our final 2 episodes dropped. Episode 9 out, okay? And episode 10, everything gonna be okay? Question mark. So let's talk about episode 9 first. Issa and Nathan, we're checking out places to live together. By the way, that realtor was trash. And we are saying goodbye to Tiffany and Derek at a going away party for their move to Denver. Girl, everybody rolled up to that party, even Dro. Oof, Molly and Torian were booed up. Lawrence and Condola attended with baby Elijah, and Lawrence took it as an opportunity to speak his peace and love to Issa, which caused a huge and embarrassing blow up with Nathan. Girl, that barbecue discussion alone was awkward AF.
And unnecessary.
As the episode before the finale, I didn't know what we was about to do, but it was juicy. What were your thoughts on episode 9?
Why didn't this happen sooner? Because I felt like there was a lot of transitional episodes leading up to episode 9. And I was like, we only have one more episode left.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What is happening? Like, you want to do this now, Lawrence? Now? I put in our Instagram stories, like, is this too late? 100%. Was like, this was entirely too late at that point.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't too late for me. I know, but it wasn't. when he said, I'm not happy without you, I felt that in my spirit. I was like, Lawrence.
None of it. I got an ice box where my heart used to be.
Listen, I felt it. I was here for it. And I was like, the only thing I didn't like was that it had to be so messy between him and Nathan. Because again, we're grown.
In front of company, right?
It was so awkward to be at this party, have all these other beautiful Black people staring you down. Like, really? Y'all about to get into possibly a full-blown physical altercation at our big age? That was very embarrassing.
Yeah. But Nathan didn't seem very comfortable in Issa's circles. I feel like he just seemed like a fish out of water.
You mentioned that. I don't know if I felt that he was a fish out of water so much as I just felt like there was always this level of instability in their relationship that made him feel uncomfortable. When you are in a partnership with somebody, you should be bridging those gaps between your significant other and your friends groups to make everybody feel comfortable. And I don't know if Issa ever really did that with him.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
But Molly's outfit, Molly's dress, I lived for that black and white dress. She looked amazing.
Yeah, Molly's outfits this season were fire for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved everything about Molly's relationship in this episode. The fact that they got high together, the fact that they had munchies together, and the fact that to me, excellent relationships have wonderful communication. She was able to tell Tyrion upfront, this is Dro. I used to mess with him in an open relationship. It didn't work out, and apparently it didn't work out with his wife. And Tyrion was unfazed. I'm like, this is what a secure man looks like. You know what I mean? I was so happy for her. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Post episode, people were like, is Torian the man of my dreams? Like, yes. You definitely want a man who is secure enough in himself, secure enough in knowing that, hey, this happened. This is what it is. We're honest and upfront about it. And I think Molly needed to be under the influence to be that
open
person and be that transparent, because that was still definitely an unresolved situation between her and Dro. And let's not forget, they were like best friends. So it was unfortunate that their relationship ended the way that it did. So I felt some level of closure for Molly in that moment. But also Torian cracked me up when he came and was like, oh, what'd you guys bring? Trash. Oh, you brought us trash? Yeah. Like, I was like, what is going on? He's so awkward, but I love him at the same
funny.
time.
Well, for me, I was just like, is he okay? Like,
yeah,
is
he's
he
so
like
awkward.
glitching? Because I don't understand.
He was so awkward. But it was just because, again, that level of discomfort probably coming into this environment and realizing, oh, what I did is off or wrong. But again, Molly made him feel comfortable. Hey, let's go ahead and do these edibles together and let's have a great time. So I enjoyed this episode. I think we text or call or talk to each other after this, and we were like, this would happen when we're on break, because this is the best episode yet of the season.
It really was. It really was. And we only had one episode left.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out, like, what could actually happen?
The last thing I have to say about this episode is, why was Condola at this party? Why? These are not your friends?
She worked with Amanda Seale's character, Tiffany.
She sure was her coworker. Yeah. She sure was, because I
connected in the business or whatever.
I completely forgot. I was saying the whole time, I said, why is she here? We're not in a relationship with Lawrence. Why are we here? That makes sense. You're right. Correct. Thank you for reminding me of that history on Insecure. All right, let's move on to our series finale, guys. Episode 10. We got those flash forwards, okay? Focused on birthday celebrations and a wedding. What's up?
I want to gloat right now before you go forward. I was right. I was right. And I was right.
You were.
I was right on 3 fronts that I'm going to highlight now. We got our flash forwards.
Mm-hmm.
We got a whole entire wedding, Molly. And unfortunately, there was a death. So I'll let you proceed.
You nailed it, sis.
I had to gloat a little bit.
So we see Issa and Nathan broke up. Molly's mom, unfortunately, passed away. Tiffany hated Denver. Kelly got Craigers. Molly and Torian got married.
Epic.
Issa expanded her business, opened her own office, and to some people's sadness, not mine, she ended up with Lawrence. But the real love story is arguably the growth in love between Issa and Molly in their friendship. And I felt that final scene at the wedding when they talked as she was helping her get out of her dress. That was a beautiful moment, not just for the end of the show, but again, to see the growth of these 2 Black women and their love for each other. So Delora, were you satisfied with this conclusion of Insecure?
Absolutely. She did such a fantastic job tying up so many plot lines. And what I loved about it, the theme to get our flash forwards were birthdays. You know what I mean? It was kind of confusing at one point, though, because I'm like, okay, so now we're going through, okay, a year has passed. Now there's another year, you know? I think it's fascinating that Issa's trajectory was a little bit all over the place, right? Which is more realistic, right, than trying to make your way to the top. But it was wonderful to see, as you mentioned, the relationship between her and Molly and how they were able to get past such a rough patch. Girl, last season was so real. Yeah. Like, blood pressure was hot. Okay, I was hot. Okay?
I hated Molly's guts.
Girl, she has rough.
Rebounded so beautifully.
And so it was so beautiful to see them come full circle in that way. And the fact that the last line has something to do with broken pussy at me dying. I was cracking up.
I loved this finale. I loved that they made it longer. And everybody had always been hoping for a longer episode to just kind of tie and wrap everything up. I love that we got to see and live with these characters a little bit longer in the progression of their lives. I loved that everybody ended on a happy, healthy note in their lives, in their careers, on all fronts. I loved that Issa and Lawrence ended up together. I loved that even in the after show, I could celebrate and appreciate and respect everything that the actors and the writers and everybody behind the scenes put in to make this show what it was over these 5 seasons. And I'm really, really going to miss Insecure. I think they wrapped it up beautifully, but damn, it still hurt that it was the final episode, but I was left very satisfied. So
very satisfied. And that's what makes the series so good and so epic. And it's an instant classic. Like I just love it. And to your point earlier, the way that Issa was able to build her empire and pull people up as she went up is so beautiful to see. And to know that she's around our age, you know what I mean? And you don't have to wait to help out or see someone who is where you used to be. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait till you're already established. You can do it while you're going. And so I bring that up because several of Issa's writers or people who've been a part of the Hooray family have their own shows.
Yep.
We have
showrunners.
Abbott Elementary with Quinta and the head writer and showrunner for the new NBC show Grand Crew. And then there's rap shit that's coming out on HBO very soon. So I love it. I love to see it. This is what moguls do. This is what moguls do.
Absolutely. I think Issa said a long time ago, people always reach out to her to say, hey, how can I get put on? How can I do this? She said, look at the people who are around you, because that's what she's always done. Who are the people that are in need, that are directly around me, my friend group, my whoever, and let's all rise up together. And I think that that's why I mess with Issa Rae so heavy. Girl, do your thing. I love that she wrote this last episode too. It's always such a great full circle moment to have the main person who developed this, who started this, to be the one to end it as well. Yeah. So that final wind down episode, I cherished. And my mom, I got to watch the finale with my mom. She's so silly. Usually we call and talk to each other. So even though she was sitting on the couch next to me, she still called me on the phone to act as if we were going to talk about the show.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was a wonderful moment in memory for me. And I'm sure a lot of other people will, have this as a memory for them as well, when they got a chance to kind of watch us conclude this wonderful cultural, impactful series. So to all the cast, crew, everybody who worked on Insecure, hats off. Great job.
Congratulations.
And Delora, that is it for our episode for today. Guys, as always, feel free to give us your comments, your feedback. We're on all the things. You guys know we're on YouTube too as well. If you ever want to check out our episodes, feel free to look there too.
Yes, please comment. Please comment and subscribe.
Give us
love to hear from you.
Spotify has reviews now too, so go ahead and give us 5 stars on Spotify as well, please.
Please and thank you.
Laura, what are we going to recap for the people dropping on Tuesday?
Well, Ashley, we are going to recap Don't Look Up. It is a Netflix original movie. It is in the top 10 since its debut, and it's going to be fun.
All right, guys. Until next time, see you then.
Bye.